Today we are going to create an Amazon price drop alert. So there is this product that I want to buy, but I want to buy it at the lower price, and so it's going to be a good exercise for us to build something with fun. So let's get started, and what we are going to do is we'll search for a product, figure out what product we need to buy, and for that particular product we are going to make a request web page, and that request will bring in the HTML content, but we are going to pass through the HTML content and we are going to extract the price. We'll compare the price with whatever our desired price is. If it's lower than that, we'll shoot an email. So if this sounds interesting, let's get started. And by the way, I don't know what I need to, where people just show you that this is the way you write your code, but this is also going to be how I search on the fly what I think about and how I achieve something. So I think this is something that would be useful for other people too, because that's what you learn while building something. So for this we are going to create a new project in PyCharm. I'll go to File menu and click on New Project. It's going to be a simple project, so I will just name it something like My Experiments, and I'm going to create a virtual environment because I don't want the dependencies to mess around my global environment. We'll open this project and we'll wait. Now we have created the project, but we need to install some of the dependencies which we can use to achieve our purpose, and for that we are going to install some libraries. But before that, this is the product, so we'll use Amazon URL. And by the way, if you don't know about Ecosia, it's a search engine which will use its revenue to plant the trees, and I'm not associated with Ecosia. It's something that I liked and I use as my default search engine. I guess this product is not available in the Amazon, so we can simply use some different product. Now let's say this one. Okay, and its price is 5799, and we want to be notified when it drops to maybe 5500. So we'll copy this URL, and what we need to do is we will need to send a request to this URL and try to extract the data. So we'll try to extract the price from the HTML content. So let's create a new script, a new Python file. I'll name it price tracker, power price alert, whatever you want, and we need alert whatever you want, and we need to import some modules. So before that, I know that I need to use request library. Python already has inbuilt libraries which can be used to make a request to web page, but usually people use request library, so we are going to pip install requests because it has nice API. We'll install this library, and this library only makes requests to web pages. and it will give us the HTML content. So we will need something that to parse the HTML document and query the document using some of the selectors. So we'll install Beautiful Shop. So we'll install Beautiful Soup, and we'll copy this command and paste it here. It will take a few seconds to, and we'll copy this command and paste it here. It will take a few seconds to install. And now we're done. So we have pulled in the two dependencies that we need. Now we are going to copy this URL and save it as a variable. We can simply change it later to be notified about different product. Now we need to import some module to hit this particular URL and get the content, and for that we are going to use request library, which we have just installed. So we'll import request. Now we will try to get content of this particular HTML page, but before that let's search for request example so we can see how to we make a HTTP GET request. Okay, we have done install, we have done import. Now we need to use this request.get. I'll put in a variable HTML and I'll get the content of this URL in this particular variable, and I'll pass the URL that I want to get information of. Now we can simply print the value and let's see what we get. So I'll run this now just to make sure that we are getting the HTML content. It's giving me response 200, so this is showing me something of object, but I want to get content from the response. So I'll need to write something like this, because this is example shows the text. That means it will give me the text response. .json means it will maybe parse the JSON if my response was JSON response. Just name it HTML. We can try to execute this again and let's see if we're getting content. So yeah, and we got the content, but I think this is about validating the captcha, because now we are hitting this web page and Amazon is going to know that we are directly hitting the URL, and usually that have preventive measures about DDoS attack, and also random software or bots can attack particular URL and hit a lot of times. I think yeah, this is blocking. So this is requiring some captcha. So to get around this, we usually can pass headers, because if you see the actual request that goes from browser, you will see a lot of headers and cookies and all those kinds of information going with the request. But when we make request from this code, it's only sending this URL. It's not getting that extra information. So maybe we got a price, but I think we'll need to add some headers in future. So let's search for the price that we are looking for. We need to search 5.7. It's 5.7. Yeah, so we got the price, and for now it works. But I think maybe in future we will need to add headers to our request, since if we keep making the same request again and again, they will block the URL. They will block it for us, and we will have to set headers. But for now we want to now extract this price. So how do we do that? The price is actually in the span tag, and it has some ID, it has some classes, and now we can use that information to get to this particular span element. Because to get to this particular span element, because if you are familiar about CSS selectors and jQuery selectors, then we can use those kind of selectors to get to particular elements, apply something to some particular elements. But here we are going to use a beautiful soup, and so we need to figure out how do we serve. So we need to see what we can or how, so we need to see how we can select our span element. We will see the documentation. Let's go there. So it says that we need to import beautiful soup. We will pass the HTML document, and we will also pass the HTML parser. So maybe it has different options about specifying different parsers. It could be helpful about achieving performance if it's not meeting your requirement. But I think the current parser is going to be okay for us. So we'll create an object vs write beautiful soup, and we'll pass the HTML content. Now we may not need the parser, but let's check. It's HTML.parser, so we'll put that as second argument. Now from this object we need to get our span element. For this we have an ID and we have classes, so we can use that information. But how do I use that information to get to my span tag? It says if I do .p then class, so we can get price using this object build p. So we can get price using this object build ps span, maybe, not sure if that would work. Maybe pass this ID because we want to get span of this particular ID, since they have provided this .p and class. Okay, class Okay, let's do find. So we are going to find all the spawn tags. This is going to return find all written 1, find all written multiple entries. So let's first try spawn. If it's easy to get to the spawns that we need, let's print the object spawn. We got only one spawn. This is not what we are looking for. So we need to find particular spawn. This one says we can pass some ID, but let's search for the spawn that we are looking for. That is this one with the price. So let's try find. Let's try to specify the ID. Let's see if this works. No, it didn't. So we somehow need to figure out how do I get to the spawn element. I'm going to check the documentation. Okay, so it's saying that it is going to use the built-in parser from Python. It has decent speed, but how do I get to the spawn element? Let's search through this. We can get contents, we can get children, but I just want to search the spawn. I don't care wherever it's located. Maybe we can simply find the spawn and see if we can get our spawn here. It indeed return our spawn, but do we have the one that we are looking for? No, we do not. Because there are these methods next and parents, and also I think this is only bringing in those spawns which are at the top level, but it's not finding those inner spawns. I mean the spawn that will be nested deep down in the HTML tree. So there's this the children, the list. We can go up and down on the hierarchy, but now I only want to get a particular spawn using ID and class. How do I do that? Recursive argument, which means that the name search recursively. Let's try to cut it through and see if this helps. But no, it didn't. We still got the same result. Oh, we need something else. What do we need? I want to search property. I want to search and search. I want to search with title. I can add the name, dates, and maybe find ID equals ID of our span tag. Let's see if this helps. Now we are not getting our price that we are looking. Now we are not getting our price that we are looking for. This span tag with the price. Okay, and we can see, sorry, we just need to make sure you're not a robot. That means it's not going to work with just plain request. We need to do something to be able to enable cookies, maybe send some headers. So, okay, okay. We need to figure out how to send headers. What are the headers that we need to send? We'll try to add a few headers and see if this works. Maybe we would need to enable cookies. Okay, we can use the inspect elements, inspect tools to find out what are the things that we need to send in request. This is the request that is sent when I open this page, and these are the request headers. As you can see, there are a lot. So maybe I can specify a few. Usually we need to specify user agent because it's the way web browsers identify which browser you are using. So it's good to specify whatever browser, valid user agent. So we'll use this user agent from this request headers. We can also add accept just to tell what kind of document it's going to accept. And there is something wrong. Okay, I think we missed comma here. Okay, so add a few more headers like cookie is going to change, maybe add something else. As you can see, there are a lot of different headers. Okay, okay, maybe let's just run this one and see if we are getting our price. Okay, no, not yet. So okay, this also says Robert check. So we need to add something more. Maybe You can see how we can enable the cookie support. At this and it says that we can use session. Okay. I just start the session and send the request and response and all that using that particular session. We'll go to home page first, then we'll navigate to this product page. We can get home. See if we're getting content for home. Okay, I think we didn't pass the headers. Okay, so first we'll try to pass the header and see if this works for us, because all this time we weren't passing the headers even though we defined it. So let's see if this will. Okay, since we weren't using the headers before, while hitting the product page, let's just pass the headers to product page and then see if this would bring us the price page. Maybe use the session river. Session. How do we manage session? Okay, we want headers. Do the get request, but what are the different arguments that I can pass? Okay, this is how we send it. Headers equals headers. Okay. So now we have to pass headers equal headers. I need to close this session. So instead of that, it's good to just use the with statement. Use with to open the session and close it automatically when we run out of this particular block. So let's indent it and put it inside the with block. Now let's try to execute it. Now let's see if we get our price. browser where I'm not signed into Amazon and see if it opens up. Yes. Okay. So let's see what is the element that we need to find. Where is the price located? We can also see the request header that is required. From this Chrome, from this Chrome, there are a lot of tokens that is being sent. Maybe we will need that, I'm not sure, but I think it should work. Okay, what we need to set is maybe origin and refer. So let's set this header, refer. That will be same as the page URL. So let's set this up. Maybe we can also specify the origin. Now let's see if this works. You can search for the price. Okay, the price is available in multiple spans and multiple elements. So let's find out which one is the correct price that is shown on the web page. Look at this price, and this is the price, and it is a span element, has ID, and it has class. Okay, let's try to search for this particular span. So copy its ID, maybe somehow find from all the spans. Maybe pass the dictionary of the different arguments that we want to send. We are getting the span. So we need to find how do we search for element using an ID or something. Okay, so maybe we need to pass the attributes of the HTML element. each argument may be not as dictionary. Okay, there is this argument at TRS. So it should be dictionary. So we need to specify that we need to pass the dictionary for attributes. We weren't passing the name of the parameter because first parameter is going to be the kind of tags, because the first parameter is the name of the HTML tag, and that would be span, and the second parameter will be the attributes that we want to find. Okay, we are getting price in the HTML content, but not yet through our selector. We are getting price in the HTML content, but not yet through our selector. Okay, it says we need to specify the parameter name ATTRS. Let's do that. Attributes. Okay, so we got our span element with the price. What we do is pass dictionary attributes, not just positional arguments, but it also accepts arguments using name attributes TRS, because this dictionary shows if any element, any HTML element that makes its like an attribute that will be accepted. And as you can see, we are getting only one span. So now we need to find, now we have to access the price from the span element, and this is the price that we want to get. But since it's returning to array of span, the list of span elements, we select the zeroth entry, and from that we need to do something to get the inner value from this particular tag. set price. We have parsed it and we can use it to compare when this price reaches something below the price that we want. We will send an email. So before that, we'll put this nicely into our PowerShell. We'll accept the header. Text drops below particular threshold. So currently that's this. Given the point now, we need to specify these two lines to start TLS and login with username password. And I'll use the global variables from the top which I have defined. Sorry. Put my username and password at the top. and I'll use those global variables in the function. Usually it's not a good idea to use global variables in the function, but for this purpose it works. And you should also encrypt your password whenever you are using the password in your code. So just put an encrypted version in your configuration file or in your code and use the encrypted password. And we should usually close the session that we have opened. So let's use with statement to open the connection. And so by default it will check prepare the message that we want to send. Subject price Amazon price alert. This does not accept as subject here. It's just send simple emails. So maybe we need to create some object and pass this pass to the send mail. So maybe we need to create some object and pass this pass to the send mail. We are also going to specify from address to address and message. Already have message. Well, my user is the one that I want to send email to, so my from and to address is actually the same, so I can simply use it. So how do we send an email with subject? So we can follow this link. Let's see. It shows. It says that we can create mine department with accept subject from to subject and message. Okay. Now let's do. So we are going to take the pieces that we need from this. We'll create a multiple object. This is the object of message, which will use to create a fancy message like with some attachments, with HTML body and something like that. But we don't need attachment option. We simply need to pass this message. So this object, they are getting the string of the message after preparing this object. So now we can simply take this and set. Now we will specify our message as string to contain the message. Now we will specify our message as string to contain the message. To just import the body is going to be this. Subject is going to be this. From and to address are going to be user, and we will need to import multiple. I think it looks okay. And we will quit to make sure that we are closing our connection properly. Now we can try to send. Since the price is going to be lower, it's going to send an email. Let's see if it works. It didn't, because it says that this is the authentication error. We can go to this link. It says we need to check the password, but the password is correct. So other steps are here, which means that there's some configuration that we need to do to allow sending emails from directly just accessing like this. So we need to enable this less secure apps. We'll do that. So we need to enable this less secure apps. This is not the account that I want to enable it for. So I will go to India. I also got this email from Google. Go to manage account and we will enable less secure app. I have worked in the past for sending emails, and I knew that we had to do this, but just wanted to show you that if you don't enable it, this is this is the error that you get and how you could identify it. So now we can run this again and see if we get the email. Everything looks okay. We can also print a message here just to make sure that this particular code was successfully run. Okay, so we got this email with the proper subject and body, which also has the current price. So we have done it, but now just to we will specify whatever the desired price that we want, and whenever we want to not. So what is the price that we need to be notified for? So if the price goes below or equal 5500, it will send me an email. So it didn't send me because currently the price is above 5500, and this script is what we are currently executing manually. But now we can simply set this script in our scheduler and we can make it run every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes, whatever you like, in your laptop or your PC, and it will run with that interval, and you will get email notification whenever this price point is reached. But another way to do is we can simply start the script once and we put some logic. We can simply loop over it infinitely and we will sleep for about maybe 15 minutes before checking the price again. So we can simply start a while loop. We will put this inside while loop, and since I use Java all the time, I have put braces everywhere. Okay, so now it's going to run infinitely, but it will run this again and again and again. But we don't want that. We want to sleep for a few seconds before we check the price again. So let's see how we can sleep. But I think it's just a sleep function, but Yeah, and it accepts seconds. Usually it's milliseconds in different most of the languages. It's milliseconds in Java, but specified simply in seconds in Python. And so I will wait for 60 seconds, and I'm going to wait for 30 minutes. So I convert it to seconds, 30 into 60. Now it will wait for 30 minutes for checking the price again, and I can simply keep this script running forever on my laptop. Whenever the price reaches this particular point, it will send me. See, it's still running. It's just going to keep running, and it's not going to stop. It will keep running, but it will stop if I close PyCharm. So a better way will be that you can simply open a command prompt or something, or simply start the script once and let it run in the background. So this is how we can do it. I really hope this was helpful, and if you have learned something from it, please let me know in the comments below. And please let me know if